Hi you guys, this is Elsa. Welcome to Achromatopsia and the saga that is my life. Well, today I wanted to start off by, every time I do a video, I really want to stick to like a specific subject, that came from you guys that, gave me good ideas of topics to talk about. My daughter's with me today. Say hi! This is Justice. Well, anyway, one of the biggest, not the biggest, but one of the things that I was asked a lot about, was to talk about how it is to parent, while having this eye condition. And that's a really good question. First off, I want to start by, I didn't fully understand how some parents view, their children with achromatopsia, and I want to explain that before I continue. I know how I see, but I never put into consideration how parents think their children can see or what they can't see. So I want to explain a little bit of that. We are partially sighted. We are not completely blind. So if you have like a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old and you really think they can't see anything, that's not the case. We can see just fine. The only thing for us is we are very, very light sensitive, and we are nearsighted. When you are nearsighted, it doesn't mean you can't see the things around you. You can see the outline, you can see the shapes, you just can't see like fine details. I mentioned this before. If I'm out in a crowd of people, I can see that there's people. I can more or less tell if a person is a man or a woman, but I can't tell if I know them or, something if they have on their face unless I'm directly close to them. So like same thing when you're out in public and you see cars or there's a tree, you're not gonna bump into something, because you can't see it. If anything, you'll probably bump into something because it's super, super bright and you don't have glasses that are dark enough for you to see everything. But my point is, we can see, you know what I mean? It's just little details we can't see. It's more difficult for us. So I was asked a lot of questions about like, am I able to do, how do I cut my fingernails or my toenails? And same way that everybody else does. I brush my hair just the same way everybody else does. I can straighten, I can curl my hair, same way everybody else does. Like I said, we're not completely blind. We can see, not as, well as obviously everybody else can, but we can do things like washing ourselves, shaving. I think I was maybe 14 or 15 when I started shaving. It is sometimes a little harder for us because we can't see really small things or like small print. It's harder to see a lot of the hairs. So what I used to do, is I would just feel. If I would shave my legs, if I would feel spots that, felt a little prickly, just go over it again. Same concept like with my eyebrows. When I would pluck my eyebrows, sometimes I had a hard time seeing. By the way, for that, I recommend like a magnified mirror. That helps a lot. But sometimes, there's little small fine hairs that it's hard to get. So with that, I just feel. If I still feel prickly, I just keep plucking. I guess I had good luck with that because I would never pinch my skin or anything like that. I know some people, regular sighted people, that have problems with that. You can also just get them waxed. I did that for a while. But anyway, the point of this video is about parenting and how I'm able to do it. Well, like I said, I'm able to do things just like everyone else does. I'm able to clean, I'm able to cook. I'm not the best cook, but I can cook. It's a little difficult for me when it comes to cooking meats, because I can't tell when it's like a brownish or golden brown color or something. So I tend to overcook things sometimes because I rather them be cooked instead of, undercooked. So sometimes I do need to ask somebody like, hey, does this meat look ready to you, or something like that. But as far as baking, now that is what I am great at. Baking's easy because everything's instructed to you on the box. You just put it in the oven for such and such time, it comes out, it's ready. So I am a great baker. Not from scratch, but anything that's on a box with instructions, I can do that. So anyway, I had my first child when I was 19. I had my little baby boy. I honestly, it wasn't really difficult for me, because I babysat children my entire life. It's basically what I was good at, I guess. So I already had experience taking care of children. So when I had my son, it wasn't really difficult. The only thing that I think was a lot for me was when it comes to like doctor's appointments, because you have to like fill out paperwork and read things, and it's harder because, like I said, our vision isn't, you know, all that great. Um, but as far as like the actual baby care, it was fine for me. I actually enjoyed it. The only other thing too that I feel like was a little difficult for me was whenever I was pretty good about like cleaning and changing and bath time and all that. The thing that it was harder for me to tell was whenever he would get a rash. I couldn't tell if he had a rash until it got like really bad, where it was dark. So then I could tell, like tell the difference between the skin. Um, but other than that, luckily I had, like I said, I have family around me, so anybody can just tell me like, oh hey, it looks like it's getting a rash, and I'd know. But if I were like completely alone, I wouldn't be able to tell unless it got real dark. Um, Let me see what else. But like shopping for baby clothes, all that stuff wasn't really difficult for me. I just pick whatever's cute. If it matched or didn't match, I just ask people around me. As an adult, I got more confident in asking like, um, what are they called, the people at the store, like, hey, excuse me, can you help me, can you let me know what color this is, or does this look like a boy color, or is this like a girl thing, so that way I would know. um when my son started kindergarten, excuse me, yes, kindergarten, I was a little uh scared because I was so used to, I was a helicopter mom. I still kind of am a helicopter mom just because I get so anxious. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. Before he went to school, I was always scared to let him go play in the playground because, you know, a lot of parents, like, let's say if you go to a family party or a park, you could sit back, relax, and watch your kid from afar. I can't do that because I can't see from far away. So I was always making sure he was next to me because I was scared. What if he falls? What if he trips? Or so I think with parenting there's like a lot of anxiety, but I think that's kind of like with everybody, especially with your first child. But for me, it was just the fear of what if he falls if I and I don't see it, or what if, you know, he bumps into something. So that stuff like that really didn't happen with him because I was a helicopter mom. And when he started school, it was like my first kind of break of like, okay, he's gone for a few hours. What do I do with myself? And then that's when I would get cleaning done, laundry, all that stuff. Like I said, we can do all that stuff just like everyone else. Okay, so our capacity to see is not, I don't want to say that affected, but you know what I mean? We're able to do normal things like clean and somebody asked me about if I'm able to see dust. Yes, I can. It's not with everything. I feel like if there's dust on a darker uh, object or furniture, you're able to see it faster than in something that's light. You won't be able to notice it right away. But yes, I was able to clean dust. I was able to wash dishes and do all that stuff. Like I said, just like everyone else, we can do that too. Um, then when my son got older and started, you know, learning more things, that's when he became my seeing eye kid and was able to help me with everything, with colors, with paperwork, reading things, all that good stuff. And it wasn't until he was 12 before I had um my my rainbow baby right here. Say hi. With her, I feel like my vision and my capacity to parent was very different. I had a whole different experience with her. With my son, everything was just so easy, it just came so naturally. But with her, it was very different because I have high risk pregnancies because I have an autoimmune issue. So I went through several losses. I had lots of miscarriages, and I even had a 36-week-old stillbirth, and that was a lot. It was really hard. Um, to go through something like that. So then when I got pregnant with her, that pregnancy was very intense. I had to go to several doctors. With doctors comes paperwork and all that good stuff. But a lot of people are very understanding. If you just explain to them, I'm sorry, can you help me fill this out? I can't see it. They'll help you. You just need to have the confidence to ask. Let's see what else. With her pregnancy, it was stressful. Because the majority of my pregnancy with her, I was told over and over that more than likely she wouldn't make it because she was so small. But for some reason, I had this blind, like, faith and hope that she would be fine. So I had to get checked every week, and for my 30-week checkup, they let me know, you know what, your placenta completely shut down already. We need to get her out now. So she was born early. She was born 10 weeks early. She was 30 weeks, but because she was so small, she had something called severe IUGR, which basically means my placenta really wasn't working throughout my pregnancy, so it wasn't providing her with a lot of like nutrients and stuff. So she was really, really small. When she was born, she was 1 pound, 2 ounces, and 10 inches long. So she was tiny. So now I was a mom to a micro preemie, and living in the NICU, she had to stay there for 3 months. That was very scary and stressful. I think it's to any parent, but especially to a parent that is visually handicapped, because you always kind of second guess yourself. And with her, there was so much medical stuff to do, and it was scary for me. But I feel like when you put your mind to something, you can like overcome anything. They had told me when we started this NICU journey that by the time we leave, I'm pretty much gonna be, you know, like a nurse. And they weren't kidding. There is a lot that has to go with that. She had a lot of issues because she was so small. There was a lot of medications. She was on oxygen. She was on a feeding tube. She's still actually on a feeding tube. You can see it on her face. Look, say hi. She's 2 years old now, but because she went through so much trauma in the NICU, she refuses to eat anything by mouth, so we have to feed her everything through a feeding tube. Now, this feeding tube is really scary because I had to learn how to insert it. I had to learn how to measure it. And this little tube has little numbers on it, and that's how you know how far to go down. And as she grows, it changes. So I have to measure her, and those little numbers are tiny. So I use my phone, I think I mentioned this before, for everything. I'm able to see the numbers on the phone, and I'm able to measure her. I'm able to give her medicine just fine. I think when you have problems seeing, like, all your other senses get stronger and you're able to do things that way. So I always feel like people with achromatopsia are very creative. We can, might not be able to do something the way regular people do, but we'll figure out our own way to do it. We're very, very, very resourceful. And I'm very proud of myself that every time I take her to a doctor appointment, the doctors always praise me on how well she's doing, how it's amazing, for a micro-preemie baby to not be hospitalized within the first couple months of going home. It's like shocking. And the fact that she's made it to 2 years old and she's never been hospitalized, she's never had a cold, she's never had an infection, she's just small, but she's doing great. So I think a lot of what I'm doing, also, she technically qualifies to get home nursing. And while sometimes I think that would be great because I'm so busy and I have so much on my shoulders, at the same time, I kind of enjoy doing everything for her. It makes me happy and it makes me proud that I'm able to keep her strong, keep her healthy, and do all these things for her. So I get a lot of praises when I go to their doctor's appointments, and they're like, I can't believe she doesn't get home nursing, and you're doing everything, and you're doing it by yourself. Of course, she has her dad, and he helps me a lot, but I'm the one that knows all the medical stuff, medical terms, all the procedures, her medications, everything, the measuring of her tube, all that good stuff. I know about everything. She has a lot of therapies that she has to deal with because she's born early and she's small. She has physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, early interventional therapy, and I manage all of that. I call myself her mom, her secretary, her nurse. I do all of that for her. And most regular sighted people would struggle with that. And here I am, kicking butt, taking numbers, and I'm very proud of myself. I love that I'm doing it, and I have the confidence to do it, and you know, we can do anything if we put our mind to it. So, yeah, that's pretty much my parenting story. I mean, it's not just like any other person that struggles sometimes or has rough days. So do we. But as far as sight wise, it doesn't affect so much the parenting. The only thing that I kind of didn't like really that I had to struggle with was when my son, started learning colors in school. I couldn't help him with that. But once he learned them, he actually helps me with that. So it's kind of neat in a way. But anyway, my point is we can do things, regular things like dress ourselves, shower, clean around the house, cook, all that. Some of us are better than others, of course, but that's just life. That's just like any other individual person. We all have our strengths. And there's certain things we just need help on, and that's okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to need help. And there's lots of resources out there that can help you with pretty much anything when it comes to transportation, school, all that good stuff. There's lots of great programs out there. But anyway, so I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about parenting. Like I said, you guys stay tuned. I have lots of other subjects that I'm planning on making videos about. You guys gave me some great advice, so thank you all. And I hope this video gave you some more insight about, I guess, my life. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And also, if you want to ask me something that you're like embarrassed or it's too personal, like I said, message me. I'll get back to you. Yeah. All right. Bye, you guys. Take care.